Hey y'all, welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin, and I'm here this week with Jason.
Hello, comrades.
And uh, we are one of or maybe the most unprofessional podcast in the land or the known universe, and one of the only socialist podcasts in Alabama. Shout out HSV Progressive. If you don't listen, take a listen to them. And we're here. It's been a hell of a week. I had a lot of activities going on. We'll get to that, the Labor Day stuff, and we had another spokes council meeting, and uh, I got 31 memes, and I think that's probably too much. Oh yes, hello, hey, and yeah, when we got some memes. We got this week in socialist history. Got a conspiracy of the week, and then we got some stuff about the lottery and uh, uh, that that Tuberville fella. Um, so yeah, and I guess we're gonna get to it. Let's see here. Let's see here, and Jay, you actually contributed several of these this week. But we'll start here. If you ever feel heavy because you care deeply about injustice, suffering, and ecological destruction, remember that $1 trillion propaganda machine was built to make you numb, and it didn't work on you. That's right, folks. That's why we're glad you're here. Glad to have you all. Glad you're sharing time. Out in Indonesia, yeah, folks are standing tall.
Yeah, they're throwing down in Indonesia. If you haven't been following the news, make sure you take a look at what's been going on there.
That's right. Because speaking of direct action, protest is like begging the bigger powers that be to dig a well. Direct action is digging the well and daring them to stop you. It's from David Graeber. Destroying everything seems like the best option. Yeah, let's let's
Let's pull it all down and start over.
yeah, that's definitely a vibe. Oh, what up, chat? Yeah, you're the chat, but thank you. I love this. Commies can't touch us if we all go off grid. Owning the commies by living in a commune. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Hope is not a plan.
Can't just hope for it.
But me in bed every night trying to think of ways to radicalize people is.
Oh yeah, that's me all the time. I'm
Yes.
constantly reading and thinking about how do we get it percolating.
Yes. I'm telling you, we got to do some door knocking and keep on doing what we've been doing.
That's a good idea to not to
Oh,
uh
yeah.
to door knock. If it works for the Mormons, it can work for us.
Oh. Chat is here. Thank you, Jolly Green, for showing up. Right. Stop doom scrolling. Put down your phone and take a doom walk outside. Doom drink some water. Doom breathe. That one had me good.
Yep. This is from Indonesia.
Yes. Calling all pirates. Pillage, plunder, and steal all the politicians' treasures. Arg. Pirate Sterner there.
Max Cerner as a pirate.
Um,
I dig it.
yes, sir. Got Karl Marx over here cheating off of Britney Spears. The alienation of man thus appeared as the fundamental evil of capitalist society. I think I should do a German accent for him.
Yeah.
My loneliness is killing me. That's my best Britney.
There you go.
Right.
You're
We
big.
invented, yeah, we just, arg, we got arg over here. Uh, We got America just invented something. We got fascism ruled by dictator, oligarchy, government by a wealthy few, theocracy ruled by religion, kakistocracy, government by the least qualified. And America has produced the most unique system of governments, a theofascocracy. There we go. We got something new. We got something new.
There you go.
And they shall wear the mark of the beast upon their foreheads. Revelations 13, 16 through 17. I'm thinking I'm supposed to say book 13. And I don't know.
Chapter 13, verse 16 through 17.
Thank you. Book is the revelation part. Yeah, I'm a bad Christian.
You godless heathen.
Yeah. The U.S. to announce plans to build a nuclear reactor on moon. Jesus fucking Christ, how many kids did he touch?
Yeah. I don't have to point out that I'm against building nuclear reactors on the moon or anything else for that matter. Let's keep the moon pristine. I don't want to look up at the moon and see a bunch of like industry lights. Like, what is that all about?
Industry lights, nah, dog. It's going to be an advertise. It's going to be like the Sphere out in Vegas. That's what we're going to get.
No.
Yeah. There's already patents out there for space advertising. Just to let you know.
I big disapprove of that. I'm against advertising in general. I think we should restrict the when and wheres of advertising. Like if it were up to me, there'd be a lot less advertising in the world.
Word of mouth is good enough.
It turns out that most purchases are based on word of mouth. Like I read, there's a book about this. What's it called? I think it's called. Jonah Berger was the guy who wrote it. It's called
Hamburger.
Yeah. Jonah Berger. Look at his bibliography. Contagious. Why Things Catch On.
There you go.
Which I read because I was like, make socialism catch on, right?
Or polio catch on, or COVID, or we got,
So it's a really good and interesting book, and it talks a lot about like what makes things go viral and how to. It turns out that anger is a good way to get articles shared, which is why Fox News works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good book, and he made a lecture series about it for the teaching company that does the great courses.
I love the great courses.
And so he has great courses that's based on his book that's also really good. And he talks about word of mouth advertising and how it's the biggest source of it's the most effective form of advertising there is.
Yeah. Maybe we need to, but going back to that anger thing, maybe we should both be screaming the entire time during this podcast. Maybe
let's channel our inner. Well, I'm blanking on everything tonight. What's that guy's name? The crazy conspiracy guy, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
We'll just scream into the microphone about the boiling gay frogs or whatever.
I'm a man.
I'm an alpha male, and I took Andrew Tate's course, and here's why. Something.
Oh, Andrew Tate. I found out this past week he's got him one of them bunkers that all these rich folks think's going to keep them safe. I'm just going to shit in the air holes.
Right.
See how long that lasts.
Exactly.
Dumb some bitches. That's about the stupidest thing you can do. But go ahead, please.
Yep.
Put yourself in a tin can.
You have this illusion that your money's going to keep you safe, and it's just not going to work out for you.
Not a damn bit. They're not arresting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's clients because they are Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's clients. I don't care.
Right. There's a lot of embarrassment to be had on both sides of the aisle, and
let's have it.
I say let's have it. Absolutely. Let's get it out there. Like Bill Clinton's name deserves to be dragged through the mud forever. Like people say to me all the time, well, what about Bill Clinton? I'm like, I am no special pleader for Bill Clinton.
Fuck Bill Clinton. Right? That's what I got. Exactly. He can take that fucking saxophone and shove it up his ass.
So he needs to be exposed like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. We got the Onion. We have officially decided to fold after Mike Johnson announced Trump was an FBI informant on the Epstein case. We can no longer compete with the reality of this administration. Sincerely, the Onion. We will miss you, Onion. All right. Young conservatives over here. Republicans control the Senate, the House, majority of governors, Supreme Court pick, presidency. This hasn't happened since 1928. Party like it's 1928.
Wow.
Do they know what happened in 1929?
Exactly.
So I formatted I'm a terrible grandpa. So I formatted my meme like this, which was the style at the time.
Yep. I remember those kinds of memes.
Yeah. Fuck all philosophy except for whatever the hell Diogenes was trying to teach, which was in a rich man's house, there's no place to spit but his face.
I love Diogenes. He has quite a few bangers. Not to mention
Dude.
like the chicken with Plato. You can look that up on your own time if you want. Diogenes and the chicken.
Yeah.
Telling Alexander to stand out of his light.
Was he the one that like didn't bathe a whole lot? That was one of his things. Or that's an aesthetic. That
probably it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't bathe a whole lot, but I don't know that for certain. His goal, he said, was to debase the currency of civilization, and that's what he did. That was after he got run out of one town for shaving coins.
Algorithm breeds fascists. Yeah, with our boy Suckenbergs. The trolley problem with Israel is a trolley, and for everybody, y'all need to understand that pulling the lever is anti-Semitic. So just let them keep on.
It's been disingenuously weaponized as they cozy up to the right wing, who legitimately hates Jewish people.
Yeah, well, the Zionists during World War II worked with Hitler, so there you go. Corvid testing. Corvids can't talk. That's my bird voice.
Some Corvids can.
I know they can use tools. I didn't realize they could talk too. We got this scumbag spotted at Royal Oak High School, a pride flag in the window. As Michigan's next governor, I'm going to make sure the only flags in our classroom are American flags. Why are you hiding in the bushes looking into schools?
That's a good question.
Okay, this is too long. We got too many memes anyway. But basically, be floppy at these protests. And it definitely upsets the folks trying to carry you off. You can just hit pause and read it, and I'm going to go to the next one. MAGA folk, I love this thing. The Second Amendment. Trans folks down here, I'm going to defend myself. No, not like that.
Yeah.
Even the NRA came out against them trying to take guns from trans folks.
I saw that. It was an unexpected bit of consistency.
Yeah. Sure, a lot of us can identify with this here. The voices in my head, we got a bear and wolf standing off. Progress takes time. We don't have time. Yeah, well.
I agree with the wolf.
We got the president giving Rudy Giuliani, he's awarded the Presidential Medal of Incest.
I don't even want to know what that is about. I don't get this joke, and I don't want to get this joke.
Oh. All right, they got you fighting a culture war to stop you from fighting a class war. We got, leftist and a rightist in there, both working class folks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Robert, wait, what's Kenny? Robert, your son is a fucking idiot. That's a terrible Kennedy impression.
All I can do is clam chowder. Pak the Khan, Harvard Yard.
They fucking hate that shit up there when folks show up saying that.
Dude.
We got.
Well, we didn't make them talk that way.
Yeah. Ain't my fault. Y'all sound funny. No irony there. Right.
I know, right?
Right.
With my southern drawl.
I will be the president of peace and end all wars on day one. We will now be recreating the Department of War.
That's to the tune of $1 billion. $1 billion rebrand.
No, is that what it's running at?
That's what I saw online. Who knows? I saw it online, so it must be true.
I saw Hegseth get his new little plaque for his door. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War. I saw him doing some video this week at a range. His trigger pull sucks, man. It looks like he's trying to. I should probably hold off on. I don't know what. Fucking. Oh, anyway. We got 50 Shades of Orange over here. They are getting oranger. I didn't even, you set Vance here. I didn't realize he's starting to turn.
Wow, I didn't realize that either.
With Christmas only a short time away, toy makers are working hard to commemorate the Battle of DC. And if you hadn't seen, they got all the soldiers doing police call and gardening and shit. And finally, we ran through these pretty fast.
That's good. Yeah.
I heard your manager is pretty strong. Yeah. And yeah, that's the memes for this week. And we're rolling, folks. Yeah. Thank y'all for being here. And what do we got going on next? Oh yeah, this week in socialist history. Let's see if I can find them tabs. There they are. We took a week off, and it always feels weird coming back after a week off.
We didn't quite take it off. We had other organizing work to do.
Yeah, that's very true. Such as Labor Day. And yeah, just so you know, Labor Day versus May Day. The date of May 1st, so this is September 1st. May 1st emerged in 1886 as an alternative holiday for the celebration of labor, later becoming known as International Workers' Day. The date had its origins at the 1885 convention of the American Federation of Labor, which passed a resolution calling for the adoption of the 8-hour workday effective May 1st, 1886. While the negotiation was envisioned for achievement of the shortened workday, use of the strike to enforce this demand was recognized when May 1st advocated as a date for conditioned strike action. Proximity of the date to the bloody Haymarket affair of May 4th, 1886 further accentuated May 1st radical reputation. And just so you know, May 1st is when the UAW has all their contracts ending in 2028. So if we can't get a general strike before then, we at least got that on the docket. But yeah, this since the mid-50s, the United States has celebrated Loyalty Day and Law Day on May 1st. Unlike Labor Day, neither are legal public holidays. In the government agencies and most businesses do not shut down to celebrate them, and therefore have remained relatively obscure. Loyalty Day was formally celebrated in a few cities, with some bar associations holding Law Day to celebrate the rule of law. But there was disagreement among labor unions at this time about when a holiday celebrating workers should be, with some advocating for continued emphasis on the September March and picnic date, while others sought the designation of the more politically charged date of May 1st. Conservative President Grover Cleveland was one of those concerned that a labor holiday on May 1st would tend to become a commemoration of the Haymarket Affair and would strengthen socialist and anarchist movements. Oh, the horror that backed the May 1st commemoration around the globe. In 1887, he publicly supported the September labor holiday as a less inflammatory alternative, formally adopting the date as a United States federal holiday through a law signed in 1894.
I'm happy to celebrate both days. I
I
think
agree.
America has 2 Labor Days because we're the country that needs 2 Labor Days.
How about a Labor Day every month?
There
Maybe.
you go.
I think there's something to that. Something to that. You know, this world's capital's obsession with efficiency. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, and productivity. Maybe fuck both those things because they're diametrically opposed to the human experience.
We need to turn the world into more stuff.
Yeah,
Turn nature into stuff. That's what we need to do.
yeah. Get your kids in the mines, y'all.
They yearn for them.
Mm-hmm. And on September 2nd, we had the Declaration of Independence of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam.
That was on my list.
Oh, great minds.
Yep.
Well, you want to, yeah, written by Ho Chi Minh and announced at Ba Dinh, I know I'll chop that up, Square in Hanoi on 2 September 1945. It led to the foundation of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, replacing the Empire of Vietnam under the Nguyen dynasty and Bao Dai, who abdicated on August 25th. It was a declaration of independence from France, but France did not recognize it. France formed the independent and unified state of Vietnam within the French unions with the Alizé Accords took effect on 14 June 49 as an alternative method to solve the Vietnam question. This associated state would become the Republic of Vietnam. The declaration is also considered the founding of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, although the state was actually formed 2 July 76. And, in 1945, American workers actually started supporting Vietnam and their call for independence. And then, right after World War II, and the decolonization to neocolonization began. What you have on it?
I mean, that was basically it. You covered all the high points, I think. It was basically the declaration of the independence by Ho Chi Minh, who was deeply inspired by the United States Declaration of Independence.
That's right.
And by our Constitution.
And a former dishwasher. So
in New York City, yeah, the restaurant in New York City where he worked has a little plaque that said, "Hey, Ho Chi Minh worked here."
Hey, you know what? I was a dishwasher. I think everybody should be a dishwasher for a little bit, to be honest.
The closest I ever came, I was a waiter for a little while. And I guess I had to wash dishes as part of my job, but
yeah, you weren't in the pit.
So I was at the Waffle House, so we had to wait tables and bus and wash the dishes.
Oh yeah. And on September 3rd, we have how Frederick Douglass escaped slavery. Man, I always love Frederick Douglass's hair.
Oh yeah.
But
I just
Douglass
love reading his speeches generally.
Yeah, he's awesome.
When he pops up in our history courses.
But Douglass on September 3rd, 1838, although he knew the risks, I felt assured that if I failed in this attempt, my case would be a hopeless one. It would seal my fate as a slave forever. And Douglass disguised himself as a free black slaver, credible ruse given the nautical knowledge he gained from working on the waterfront. He also knew that the deference shown to sailors in a seafaring city such as Baltimore could work to his benefit. He donned a red shirt and sailor's hat and loosely knotted a black cravat around his neck. Into his pocket, Douglass stuffed a sailor's protection pass, which he could present in lieu of free papers that railroad officials required black passengers carry as proof they were not enslaved. Douglas had borrowed the document from a free African American seaman, but he bore little resemblance to the physical description detailed on the piece of paper. Close examination by a railroad official or any authority would reveal the subterfuge and imperil both Douglas and his friend. You can read more on this history.com website. There's such a rich history of badasses out there, such as this one, Jiang Jingzhu. I'm probably chopped that up. Was one of the earliest. September 4th. She was born in 1895, but was one of the earliest female members of the Chinese Communist Party, widely regarded as a pioneer of the women's movement in China. She sought to unite the various women's movements in China around women workers and principles of anti-imperialism. She worked to support labor strikes, including those which were part of the May 30th movement. In 1928, the Kuomintang arrested and executed her. But in 21, part-time students were expelled from France due to a petition for rights of study and living. She went back to China in the same year. In early 22, she was accepted in the CCP and became one of the earliest female members. At the party's second Congressional Congress in July 2022, she was appointed to lead the party's women's movement. She viewed women laborers as the primary force to achieve a revolution for women in China. She led various women's movements in the CCP and had a major impact. She wrote articles and 2 publications, the Guide Weekly and Women's Weekly, which aimed to disseminate communist ideals and feminist ideals. In her writing, she elaborated on Chinese women's problems, called for Chinese women to unite and fight for liberation. In 22, she gave birth. She worked with women silk workers in Shanghai to support their strike. And but it goes on into some detail on her life and her death at the hands of the KMT.
Wow. She reminds me of Alexandra Kollontai from the Soviet Union.
Okay. I have not heard of her. Maybe we'll get to her.
Yeah, I don't know when she was born. Let me look that up. Or when she died.
This fella I ain't never heard of. Otto Bauer. He was born September 5th, 1881. Is a Austro-Marxist theorist and politician. But he was an Austrian politician, was one of the founders and leading thinkers of the Austro-Marxists, who sought a middle ground between social democracy and revolutionary socialism. He was a member of the Austrian Parliament from 1907 to 1932, deputy party leader for the SDAP, Social Democratic Workers' Party, from 1918 to 34, and foreign minister of the Republic of German Austria in 1918 and 1919. In the latter position, he worked unsuccessfully to bring about the unification of Austria and the Weimar Republic. His opposition to the SDAP joining coalition governments after it lost its leading position in parliament in 1920, and his practice of advising the party to wait for the proper historical circumstances before taking action were criticized by some for facilitating Austria's move from democracy to fascism. Kind of agree on that point of criticism. But yeah, you can read more about him on our lovely Alabama founded site. I'm always going to claim Wiki for Alabama.
For Huntsville, no less.
Exactly. On September 6th, workers take over Cork Harbour Board's offices in Ireland, hoisting a red flag and declaring a Soviet. Cork Harbor strike, and this article is actually from back in the day, reprinted here on libcom.org. Oh, wait. Okay. I was about to say, I'm failing over here, not checking the chat. Won't ever make that mistake again. But yeah, it goes into they basically shut down the biggest port in Ireland at the time, took over operations, hoisted a red flag, and this article recounts that. And there's some of the folks that did it. The only photograph. Uh, but yeah,
Wow.
and this was during like when Ireland's republic was forming, and uh, there's but the fight between labor and capitalism, you know.
Yeah, that was on my list. September the 2nd, 1923 is the anniversary of the first elections that were held in the Irish Free State after achieving independence from Great Britain.
Okay.
So that was kind of so September in the 20s was happening in Ireland. Unfortunately, they didn't get all of Ireland liberated, but we're still working on that.
Yeah. Well, you know, you want to get all this shit done before the holidays kick in, you know.
Right.
And
So we still got 6 counties that are languishing under British occupation, but
yeah, like
that will not
give it
last.
up. Give it up, Britain. Like just leave, you know, why?
Exactly why. Well, there's a significant number of people who think it should continue that way who live there, unfortunately. But the independent side has been doing pretty well in elections recently. So I think as we get further away from the troubles, that's going to increase.
Yeah, more people, you know. It very doesn't much very much doesn't make sense. And the last, and I found this one. This one I got to read a little bit more of, but we had Nazi arrest Mildred Fish Harnack, a writer and communist anti-fascist activist from the U.S. with her husband in 1942. So, you know, she had a very interesting life. She was very talented. You know, played baseball as a matter of fact, but she was a resistance figure. You know, she was born in the U.S. She met a German boy, and they ended up moving back to Germany in like the late 20s. And yeah, but leading up to and during the war, the Red Orchestra tried to recruit new members, which was difficult due to the ratio of informers to proper recruits in the general populace. The group devised a method to vet potential recruits that would start with inviting them to a meeting with the approach of making the potential recruit believe the group were Nazis and lead the person to reveal their political attitude to Nazism through conversation. And it's about as slick as you can get trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Harnack lent books to the potential recruit as a test of their intellect, as there was little chance of winning such people over if they did not understand politics. In one meeting, Fish Harnack led a lecture on Kim by Rudyard Kipling to help the recruits understand colonialism. On March 3rd, 38, William Dodd was replaced by Hugh Wilson, joining him as the first Secretary of Monetary Attaché. The U.S. Embassy, Donald Heath. In 37, Fish Harnack met Louise Heath, Donald Heath's wife, at the American Women's Club in Velvustrasse. The Harnacks became friends with the Heaths. When the war started, the Heaths fled to Norway, but when they returned, Lewis requested that Fish Harnack tutor her son in American literature. The two couples spent weekends and holidays together at times. Harnack and Donald would meet in the countryside to exchange intelligence, but it became increasingly dangerous. Between December 39 and March 41, Donald Jr. couriered between Fish Harnack and the U.S. Embassy in Berlin. And it goes on into, I wanted to read that little section about how they vetted people, but it goes on. It's very interesting history and her life. And the U.S. government responded to, she was tried twice. So she was tried and given a 6-year sentence, but then Hitler didn't accept it, and they tried her again and gave her the death penalty. And
they executed her by guillotine at
yes, yeah, guillotine. You save that for them 1%ers out there. They acknowledged her work.
Right? Guillotine.
Yeah.
They got Sophie Scholl and her brother and their friends that way, and a bunch of others.
Yeah. Yeah. However, while investigators described her actions as laudable, they concluded that Harnack's execution was technically not in violation of international law, since she was a spy and had received a trial. Yeah. So that's this week in socialist history, unless you got something else to add right there.
Well, I'll try to make it brief. So I already mentioned the elections in the Free State Ireland. Chuck Fade Out Law. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, so Alabama history. September the 2nd, Alabama Governor George Wallace forcibly halted public school integration by encircling Tuskegee High School with state troopers. So that happened.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So history repeating itself in a manner around here.
Yeah, unfortunately. So that happened on September the 2nd. It's important to remember, I think. Great Britain, so on the 3rd of September in 1939, Great Britain and France declared war on Nazi Germany after their invasion of Poland.
Which was correct.
Which was the correct thing to do, absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of fucked up with that appeasement shit in the start.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can understand they saw what was coming on the horizon, and they didn't want to repeat World War I, in which a whole bunch of people died for absolutely no good reason. And I understand that, and I understand why they would feel that in their bones.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we all know in hindsight that appeasement is not the way to treat fascism. But at the time, you can see why somebody would make that mistake.
That is an excellent point. And thank goodness we've learned that lesson, right, folks?
Absolutely.
We've learned not to appease fascists, because they will not be appeased.
Figures like Neville Chamberlain, they get a bad rap, and I get it, and I think they were wrong, but I can also, we also didn't live through the horror of World War I.
Yeah.
And just the utterly pointless horror of people dying to preserve monarchies.
Yeah.
And empires, and just the first industrialized slaughter of human beings in warfare.
Yeah, because at the core of it is just preserving the 1%.
Right, exactly.
One was.
That's all that fight was about. It was utterly pointless, and everyone who died in it died in vain. Fighting for a bad cause. I'm sure it looked different from their point of view, and I'm not knocking anybody who.
And the peace that followed led to World War II.
Yeah, well, there were lots of causes, and lots of blame to go around. And we seem to have learned our lesson. We didn't punish Germany excessively after World War II. We helped Europe rebuild. So
you have to give a whole lot of other nonsense occurred post-war as well, like Operation Paperclip and whatnot. But
oh yeah, that was a mistake as well.
It seems like we've been ruled by idiots forever.
Oh yeah, since the days of Samaria, like the 1% will tell you like they're the only ones who are smart enough to run things, but the world runs on inertia and stupidity as much as it does anything else.
Yeah. Yes. They are detached from reality and their brains do not function. They got less sense than a fucking teenager.
So I always like to shout out indigenous history as well as part of our history of socialism. And on September the 4th in 1886, the last major U.S. in the Native American War came to an end as Geronimo was captured.
Mm.
Died of natural causes in 1909 at Fort Sill in Oklahoma. So that was an unfortunate turn.
You'll have to remind me one day to talk about that conspiracy theory about Geronimo in Fort Sill.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I'd be curious to hear that. I love a good conspiracy theory. Other than that, like, I don't know. I'm looking at my list. Brazil declared independence from Portugal on September 7th in 1822. So there's that.
Oh, 1822. Okay.
Yep.
That's earlier than I'd imagined.
After 322 years as a colony. They didn't ban slavery until 1888, though, when the Golden Law was passed. They were one of the last slave nations in slavery.
Yeah, there was that all like what started really like the getting rid of slavery kind of started in the 1830s ish. And honestly, we still have to get rid of it today on a level for real, you know, especially when you look at the way prisons work on
Right.
top of other such things like countries that especially in the Middle East that definitely like use slave labor like at the last World Cup.
Absolutely. And of course, we don't have to go that far to find it, because here in Alabama, prisoners are forced to work without much pay, if they're paid at all. There's actually a big lawsuit going on about that we can talk about later.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, I don't have a whole lot. There's some stuff about the American Independence War and some stuff about World War II. On September the 8th, Queen Elizabeth II died. So there's that. Chairman Mao died on September the 9th. I don't know.
We're getting into next week.
Yeah. I should wait and hold off on stuff. So I guess I don't really have anything else.
That's some good stuff. We'll get better at this stuff, folks. We're getting better at this. Look how much history we brought to you in bite-sized portions.
Yeah.
But,
so I guess that's all I have, really. There's nothing that I had that was a scream like this is important from a socialist point of view, but just some general little points in history about, and mostly I feel bad because a lot of the history I point out is bad, but a lot of bad things happened in history. So I got George Wallace blocking the schoolhouse and Geronimo getting captured.
Yeah.
But someday everything will be made right, and we'll have land back and reparations and everything else. It's only a matter of time.
Keep nudging the ball forward.
Yep.
So, well, with that, conspiracy of the week: Trump is dead. Did you hear?
Yeah, Blue Sky. Blue Sky was all about this, and I was like, you guys are jinxing it by wanting it too much. The universe punishes desire. You have to play it cool.
Be cool, dog. Be cool. Like,
you gotta be cool. You gotta be cool with the universe.
Oh, I love that. The universe punishes desire.
It's true. It's true, though. If you want something too much, you'll jinx it. Like the universe will deny you just to deny you.
Yeah, I can feel that, boy.
It's a malevolent world we live in.
But yeah, Trump had a ischemic stroke this week. Conspiracy theories allege White House cover up after death rumors. Uh, he's yeah. Trump set the internet ablaze last week after becoming suspiciously quiet and vanishing from the public eye. Many were convinced that the president, arguably one of the most powerful people in the world, had died in late August. Photos of him playing golf with his grandchildren over the weekend did not help dispel the rumors, and later images of the POTUS only served to intensify claims. Uh, and he, all caps, truth quote, social posted, never felt better in my life. Uh, the rumor mill ever begged to defer, with ranging on different theories. Some remain convinced that the White House trotted out a body double. Others saw evidence of demise with his freshly canceled trip to India and new rules restricting journalist access. Two most popular theories were an ischemic stroke or a heart attack with body doubling as a distant third. Media access was blocked. Several social users remain convinced that Trump suffered a stroke last week, contending that there was simply no alternative. Multiple posts on X insisted that the media restrictions were simply a way to ensure nobody saw Trump up close or spoke to him or took clear pictures. If he was just gone and nobody had seen him for 7 days plus, he could be in Antarctica talking to aliens. He could be in North Korea chilling with King Jong Un, whatever. There's lots of options that are on way of Trump being dead. This stuff, though, he had a stroke. That's it. What else would it even be? He had a personality transplant, is now extremely shy. I don't think he's actually dead, but it will be one of the moments we had in Biden's administration when he vanished for 5 days and came back a clone of the original version and looked different. So,
What? I wish I were so creative to be able to come up with stuff like this. He's a clone.
Oh, I actually, that was my I threw that out there.
There you go.
I threw that out there before anybody said anything. I said, "Oh, we got to go with a clone, man." Like,
Somebody
definitely.
on the Alabama Progress Discord, which you should join, by the way. You can look up the email address on alabamaprogress.org. But somebody there was like, he probably is just off playing golf. And it turns out I think that was what he was doing.
This motherfucker, like, how the fuck do you like golf that much? Like I don't like nothing that much. Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
As much as he likes playing golf.
Like, I wish I liked some things that much. Like, maybe I get more things done if I like, I don't know. But
no,
like,
I know. I get. I'm right there with you. My brain doesn't produce dopamine in large quantities, and I got to take pills for that stuff. So I don't get it either.
But god damn, that boy likes to play fucking golf. And you know, no offense to golfers, but the walking is probably the nice part, and he don't even do that.
Right, he rides around in a little cart.
Man,
it does seem like a pretty boring game, I have to say. Now whacking the ball with a club is fun. Like going to a driving range is, especially when they got the guy out there and he's wearing all the padding, collecting the balls, and you can try to hit him. That's fun. We did one of those corporate team building exercises at Top Golf in Huntsville, and it was all right. But you just basically just whack the ball as hard as you can.
But yeah, there is though definitely health problems going on with him. You ain't seen his cankles,
and the bruises on his hands, which he
yeah.
says that they're caused from handshaking, which that could be the case, but it can also be a sign of congestive heart failure.
Yeah, and like if you are getting your hands shook and it's so hard that it's getting bruised, it's you. Like, nobody shakes hand. Like, I've had my hand shook hard. I ain't never gotten no bruise from it. You got to be like breaking down if you're getting a bruise from a hard handshake. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and if folks are, whoever's shaking his hand, like, why aren't you going ahead and breaking it? Like, go on and finish it. Like, but yeah. So yeah, that's Trump is dead. The king is dead. All hail the king. Uh, which we, you know, Trump dies. I put
I'm telling you,
point.
we live in a malevolent world, and you're
Yeah.
not going to get lucky like that. You just, especially not when you want it so much. You're jinxing it by wanting it.
Well, and I pointed out on socials that, like, yo, even if he did die, like, fascism ain't going nowhere, and it might even be worse on a level with JD Vance, whose head is shoved completely up Peter Thiel's ass. You
Right.
know, founder of Palantir, among other, and
Dubious ventures.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like, what did he do? I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like, I, I ain't, I ain't drinking like almost 10 years, and I might pop a fucking bottle on that day, but uh, fascism ain't going nowhere, even with him not there. Because I don't know if you saw this week, all the uh, tech oligarchs showed up at his place, and kissed his ass, and said they were going to invest in America and all this. What I have to assume is horse shit. Uh, and throwing numbers out there, this, that, and the other, and it's like, all right, but yeah, and then they're all kissing each other's. I have never been in such a room as this with all these. It's like, man, all these motherfuckers are dumb as shit. Anyway, but yeah, conspiracy of the week. All right. Well, we had Labor Day this week, and we had uh, a spokes council meeting this week. Labor Day went swimmingly. We did, a little couple speeches, and then we had training sessions on DSA 101 and labor unions and tenant unions, and I had a break there with some live music. We had at least three singers. I didn't get to talk to them because I was talking to somebody from, I taught the tenant union training stuff, and I got to have a really nice talk with this fella, Christopher, and uh, he a fellow veteran as well. And then after the break, we did another tenant union training and another labor union training, and we also DSA 101, and then a public forum as well. And then we had Indivisible out there, 5051, DSA. We had snacks, info table. Our medics were out there, or marshals. Had somebody try to steal a flag, and then hop in their truck and immediately have an accident,
That's funny.
and get arrested by cops. Yeah. uh, mhm. So it was lively. It was lively. Uh, and that we, and it wasn't just up here. We had, there were other events that were taking place all throughout Alabama, and will continue to take place. And we got some events coming up. We got Indivisibles getting together on September 11th at the Huntsville County Courthouse, or not County Court, Huntsville. What is it called? City Council,
Yeah,
Huntsville City Council, to um, talk about ICE and trying to get the city to stand by the working class and promise not to help ICE. And um, we got also, let's see here. Oh my goodness. Where'd my notes go? I'm blind. Oh, and there's also the 25th. We'll be at City Council again because they're still trying to pass a budget and putting the AI cameras out on garbage trucks at the cost of starting at 1 million and going up to like $3 to $4 million to pay for these AI cameras to make sure people's grass isn't too tall. And in October, yeah, October 18th, there's going to be a No Kings 2.0, but also on 10/25, there's also going to be an immigration support fair, heyday at Butler Green, put on by Indivisible. And on 10/26 is Pridoween at Ditto Landing, put on by, I believe, Rainbow Trouble. So there's some events coming up, and we had the spokes council with this week, and you were my fellow facilitator. We didn't have to take notes, thank God.
Yeah, showing up a few minutes late. I got there and we facilitated the spokes council meeting. I'm still very excited about what we're going to accomplish through the spokes council. Because basically, the North Alabama Spokes Council is an organization of organizations, and there are lots of organizations participating, which could include yours if you're a member of a progressive organization and you want to get involved. I'm sure we'd be glad to have you. But we are committed to making decisions through sociocracy and consensus-based decision making, which can move a little bit slowly, especially as the founding gets up and running, because we're trying to make sure we get the founding just right. But I anticipate it will start moving a lot faster once we get through the founding stage and all the orgs have consented to our initial founding documents. We'll be able to start making some progress and just getting organizations organized. We can work together without joining each other's organizations and collaborate, so we don't schedule protests and things on top of each other's protests, and make proposals to do some big things, I think, in North Alabama. So I'm very excited about the Spokes Council and can't wait to see what we achieve together.
Yeah, we've already got some ideas that we're working on, and some of them will be hopefully statewide, like maybe some boycott actions, and we're getting buy-in, and also some things that directly around here, but also, some organization wants to do X, Y, or Z, and just getting support from the rest of the community and creating momentum and being able to mass on objectives, everybody's got their little niche interests and priorities and stuff like that. And, on a level, they're all our priorities, and it's good that people have specializations and stuff like that and focus on things that are, impacting different communities and stuff. Some stuff might not directly impact you, but, until we're all free,
Yeah, none of us are free. That's right. Well, it's going to be so good. Like now, instead of focusing on getting people to join my orgs, although I'm happy to do that, and I encourage everybody to join DSA. We can work together,
or the Green Party,
We can work together to get things done. Maybe you're not vibing with us for whatever reason, but you're a member of a different org. We can still work together to make things happen, or to get like Austin was saying, get support for your actions and get everybody on the same page when it comes to defending trans rights and battling back these Moms for Liberty crowd in the libraries and stopping ice and dealing with all the other things that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
it's very cool. The person behind it is an absolute force of nature. So
Absolutely. And I recall like when I first started getting into activism and organizing, like, I didn't know nobody. And like if you don't know nobody, you can show up there. Like you don't have to be part of an org to be there. Because there are like uh people's individual actions that they're trying to take matter as well. But I remember when I first started trying to do this stuff, like um I'll share this story one day about my mom, but long story short, universal health care is very important to me. And I saw online there's a national Medicare for all rallies going on, and I took it upon myself to try to organize one. And I didn't do too bad. I handed out chants. At least my printer worked that day, so I was able to print out chants, and I had a little speech prepared. And actually, somebody in the community volunteered to help me, and she was able to get signs donated to us. And I actually still have a couple of those signs. And this is from over 5 years ago. I don't even think I was in DSA yet. As a matter of fact. I think it was just before I joined DSA because I was still learning, still seeing what was out there and whatnot. But you know, uh, you're not alone. You out there listening to this, you are not alone. We are the 99%. You know what I'm saying? And what matters to you matters to us. So
absolutely. No, that's
tell
my
you,
problem is I care about literally every issue, and sometimes that can make it hard to focus and get anything done because, like, to me, everything is important, and I'm not willing to leave anybody behind. And I don't know. I sometimes wonder if I would be more productive as an activist if I picked a couple of lanes and stuck with that instead of trying to do everything. But it's hard. It's hard for me not to because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave trans folks behind. I don't want to leave people who need medical care behind. Like I care about literally every issue.
well, and I think there's a place for folk like you. Like I feel very much the same way. Like feel like a bird shot out the shotgun. You know what I mean? Just
Mm,
like all over the place. But I think there's room for like the jack of all trades type and the specialists. They support and reinforce each other.
yeah, maybe so. But it's hard not to feel like you're drinking from the fire hose all the time.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Oh man. Well, I think we got a few articles to go over. Maybe we start with the lottery over here.
Sure, let's do that.
Now, why is Alabama one of only 5 states without a lottery?
So the article
Goodness.
doesn't actually answer the question, but it does bring up some interesting facts. Like the last vote by Alabamians about a lottery was last century, and it did not pass. So polling shows, I think polling on this has changed, and now people are really desperate to have it. Like it's one of the hot topics every year in the legislature. Are they going to pass the lottery vote? And most Alabamians want a vote on the lottery. And I think if it were held today, I think it would pass. And so, like in the spirit of democracy, you want like if a lot of people want a certain policy, that policy should have a significant chance of happening. But that brings up the question too: is a lottery what's best for Alabama? What are the pros and cons here?
Well, a pro, if we structure it like a lot of places, it would help our education system. right?
So the article said that Tennessee would take a $350 million hit if Alabama passed a lottery, because that's how many Alabamians are going up to buy lottery tickets. So
As
that's
a
at
matter
least.
as a matter of fact, I was asked to go tomorrow morning, ride with somebody to go pick up some lottery tickets
There you
in
go.
Tennessee.
There you go. So I've done my share of lottery ticket buying. So that's just from Tennessee, and that's just from this area, from northern Alabama, presumably. So you've got to figure that the numbers are probably comparable for people who are driving to Georgia, Mississippi, or Florida to buy
You know,
lottery
my
tickets.
my dad was a Georgia lottery player. You know, he'd ride out there once a week or so like that. And growing up, before there were lotteries in those places, my granddad would drive down to Florida once a week and not just get tickets for himself though. Like he had a little thing going. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And would pick up a grips of tickets for folks down in Florida. You know, my sister used to ride with him. Uh, and I think my aunt took it on for a little bit too. So yeah, that sounds like it could be uh, between Mississippi, Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia. I mean, we're looking at, let's say, 300 million each. That's over $1 billion each
That we
year.
could spend on education. That's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
So on the con side, it's basically a tax on the poor, because it's the most marginalized people who are playing the lottery most often, and you're basically selling them dreams for cash, in the immortal words of Robert De Niro in that movie Casino.
Well, you know what? It might be a tax on the poor, but then the poor get education out of it. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, I given that a majority of Alabamians, I think, support a lottery, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to stand in the way of that just on democratic principles. I think a lottery is probably fine. I'm a little bit more ambivalent about casino style gambling, even though if Alabama had casinos, I'd probably go every week because I love to gamble. I'm aware of my
Mm-hmm.
hypocrisy on this issue. I love playing cards, love playing craps, but
We are all filled with contradictions.
I don't know. To me, it's a lot of fun. Like, you go and try to
Well,
beat
you
the
know,
little money.
they got the bingos. You know, the church has got the bingo, and there's already like in various places gambling in the state. It's just like this. Just seems like honestly like something that would actually benefit people compared to all the other gambling in the state that takes place. You know what I mean?
I think
Like,
I do think the lottery has more pros than cons.
yeah.
And $1 billion for education, I think, is a lot of money. And yeah, the Port Creek Indians are rolling in dough just off the one little bingo-based slot machines casino they've got down in Wetumpka.
Goodness. My,
So
my dog has decided it needs my undivided attention for some reason.
my cat is strictly an indoor cat, but she got outside earlier today and I couldn't catch her, and so she's still out there somewhere. I can't find her. I live on a 100-acre farm.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so she'll either come back or she won't. I'm a little bit worried about her, but
Did you put some food out there?
I did, yes.
All right. Oh, extra bullets in the house. Uncle Warren, thank you for joining us. We were just talking about the lottery and how Alabama misses out at about $1 billion a year on revenue that could go to our criminally underfunded education system.
So I think Alabamians
Yeah.
want the lottery, and I think politicians have a duty to at least give them the option of voting on it. I'm so tired of seeing issues that have like 75, 80, 90%
Yeah.
among the population that have
Oh
no
man,
chance of becoming law.
you ain't lying. Like universal health care is like at 70 something percent. There's I can't I can't even remember all the issues that like a super majority of Americans are for.
Legalizing weed.
Yeah, yeah. There's another one, and that's same in this state, and
It
they
should,
just reversed all that.
just
And
should be no brainers for politicians to get behind these and just say, there's all this talk about populism. I don't necessarily think offering people what they want is a bad thing. And saying like, hey, look, if you vote for me, I'm going to let you vote on a lottery. I'm going to let you vote on legal weed. I'm going to let you vote on any of these other issues, expanding Medicaid, or I'm sorry, expanding Medicare, that have like 70+% among the population, even in red states like Alabama.
yeah, like and I think it's just back to that first meme we looked at, all the hundreds of years of propaganda in reality, and the trillions of dollars they spend to uh they call it propaganda, and I think it was that Bernays fella or whatever with that book he had about all of it, but it's just lies. Like I sit here, like somebody can sit here and probably try to call us propagandists, right? But I would vehemently disagree, because all we're talking about is the truth. And when I think of propaganda, I just think of it as lies, even though its technical definition is not that, right?
Oh, well, that's funny because I consider myself a propagandist. I own the term. I'm proud to be a propagandist. I always thought, after the glorious socialist revolution, like, I want to be minister of propaganda. Like I want that job. So but yeah, everybody's a propagandist for something. All art is propaganda. Everybody is an apologist for something. And yeah, I do my best to make sure that what I'm apologizing for is the truth. Um, and I happen to be a socialist, and I'm all about trying to package socialism in the most attractive way possible without lying to people. And I guess there is that's part of the connotation of propaganda, is that
Right.
you are being misleading, or you're not telling people the whole truth, and I'm not in favor of that. But I do consider myself like a marketer of socialism. That's part of my job as an organizer, is to sell people on the idea of socialism.
Yeah.
And figure, most people are selling something, and it just so happens I think my product is pretty good.
It's at least fair.
Yeah. So I try not to mislead people unless I myself am misled, which is probably happens more often than I would like to admit.
Oh yeah, I've been the sucker on misinformation and disinformation, and hell, even you know 10 years ago or whatever, I was like, oh, that Elon Musk guy, he don't seem too bad, you know.
Right.
God damn, was I wrong? And
20
then
years ago, I was a proud liberal.
so yeah, like yeah, so
I thought Barack Obama was the best thing that ever happened to America.
yeah, I felt like things were turning a corner, like that, you know, and yeah, I don't know. It certainly wasn't a corner that was turned.
Yeah.
Uh, if yeah, but so where?
So we
Oh
agreed about
shit.
the lottery, right? Like, so I think a lottery has more pros than cons. It's certainly worth a try, and I think it's certainly a first step. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want there to be full gambling come to Alabama all at once. Like, we can start with a lottery and see how that goes, and then maybe think about increasing that, or expanding that to include other forms of gambling. Like, I think the lottery and then maybe sports book is the natural way to progress. and then we can take a look at casino gambling.
Well, and that's something that's already, like you mentioned, sportsbook. Like all these fucking gambling apps are already out there, on people's phones and whatnot. Like it's already pretty crazy, and like,
Oh yeah, I read an article once that estimates there's like 500 illegal casinos operating in Alabama,
ooh,
representing billions of dollars of revenue that could be the states if we would play our cards right. No pun intended.
yeah, but but there is that whole, like, there's this Victor Wembanyama. You heard of him?
Uh-uh.
And so he's this basketball player from France, playing for the Spurs out there. And his rookie year a few years ago, he went out to Las Vegas because that's where they have like the summer league for rookies and stuff. And they got back and whatever, and they're like, "So how did you like Las Vegas?" He said, "Yes, it's a dystopian hellscape," is the way he described the place. And
Wow.
I'm probably gonna guess he's pretty right on with some of that.
But the point is that too, I think, is that we should be a more democratic society. And if a significant number of Alabamians, if a majority of Alabamians want to try it, it shouldn't have no chance of passing the way that a lottery currently does. And like I said, I'm generally in favor of slower changes and experimenting with things over the course of time. I think that's the way we find the best policy. I know that is an attitude that's more associated with like liberalism and socialism, but I'm a committed socialist. There are major changes I would make right away, but there are some things where I'm like, well, I'm not quite sure what the best course is. So
Yeah,
let's try this.
what's the data say? How does
Yeah,
people feel about it? Like what are the secondary and tertiary effects, that unintended consequences? Because acting like you know everything, mm, that
yeah,
sounds like
exactly.
some rich boy shit.
So like let's start with a lottery and see how that goes. And then let's add sports book and see how that goes. And then let's think about casinos and see where that goes. And we can stop and reverse course at any point in time if you have a responsive democratic system that actually takes the will of the people into account.
Hmm. And speaking
But
of the will of the people,
boy,
we got we got Tommy Tumerville raises more than $1 million in August. So tired of his face.
well,
Uh,
I have bad news. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be your governor for the next 8 years, and there's nothing you can do about it.
oh, maybe I don't need it. Maybe I just thoughts and prayers will do the job for me.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I should not desire too much, as the universe will definitely disappoint, as we've already established tonight.
Yep.
But Tuberville, the front runner in the GOP contest for governor next year, took more than $1 million in contributions last month and has collected 6 since announcing his candidacy. When I was coaching, I learned that you can't win without a good team. When President Trump back in the White House, the sky's the limit for Alabama. And this is a terrible fucking Tuber. I have to work on that. With Suzanne and I can't do it alone. We are grateful for every hardworking Alabamian who has supported our campaign and look forward to continuing to work together to bring this in November. In August, collected 11 major contributions totaling $340,000. Came from individuals and business. He won't accept money from PACs. His campaign recently told Alabama. Okay. Smaller donations last month total 668,000. His campaign spent about 334,000 in August, mostly on consultants. Please
Wow.
buy
What a
more
racket.
consultants. Yeah. And had more than 5.4 million on hand, according to campaign data.
I want to
On
be a
the
consultant
Democrat,
for $100,000 a month.
yeah. On the Democrats side, Chad, Chin Martin, and Will Boyd are gearing up for a May 19th primary. Um,
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter which one of them wins. Like Tommy Tuberville's going to be the governor, and no power on earth can stop it.
Well, I mean, if the Democrats maybe had their shit together a bit more, and they're working on that. Uh,
Yeah,
very much,
some of them
very
are.
much been behind the eight ball for decades now. But the major thing, if I were in charge of the Democrats, I'd be doing is registering the shit out of people
Mhm.
and having an actual policy plan for working class folks
That's right.
that would agitate the population to understand that better is possible.
Everybody
Because
should know, like off the top of their head, what you're going to do for them to make their lives better. Like, and
mhm,
that's one
'cause-
thing that Trump got right is that, you know, if Donald Trump wins the election, I know what he's going to do. He's going to build the wall. He's going to deport undocumented immigrants. He's going to he's going to deport immigrants generally, and he's going to do all these, like, you understand, like, these policies are associated with him. But if
mhm.
Kamala Harris had won, I have no clue what she would have done. And the answer from liberals was always, well, there are white papers on our website. It's your fault if you don't go read it. Like, no, 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 no.
Man, get the fuck
Trump
out of here.
informed me about her campaign and what she's going to do, and she should be able to sum it up to a few bullet points. Even Obama was better at that. You know, he promised a few bullet points. He wound up not delivering so much, but at least you had some idea.
Yeah, and
And
you hammer those things.
right,
You can simply look at Mom Donnie's campaign up in New York. It's
absolutely.
clean and simple and right to the point, and it ain't confusing, and it's easy to deliver. I swear to God, if she had just said, "I'm gonna raise the minimum wage," if she said only that, she said some shit about owning a house and some $25,000 tax credit da 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 thing or what have you. Is like, girl, them people can't afford the damn thing still. You know what I mean? You still ain't gonna be able to afford a house because your damn wage ain't in line with the average price of a home being $435,000. Like that 25K, that's great, but like it does not fundamentally address the issue. It's barely a band-aid, you know.
But yeah, Mom Donnie, like, not only is he, like, personally just a very charismatic fellow, but his campaign is laser focused on affordability. And if you vote for
Mhm.
him, you know what he's going to do for you. He's going to make it cheaper to live in New York City. And he
Yeah,
is,
and he's not afraid to, like, say the basic decency about human rights,
right.
like is he going to be able to affect, consequently affect like Palestinian lives? No, but he at least stands by those folks.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown them under the bus in order to get brownie points with the wrong people. And I've been happy to see that.
And I'm sure he's been pressured with all, like, I think Obama called him.
Right.
Uh, like I'm sure he's been pressured on some of this shit.
I'm sure he
I
has too.
I'm sure Chuck Schumer, well, if you you know say you like to kill Palestinians, maybe the Democrats can help you. You know.
Yeah, or so, who knows. But yeah, so he's resisted those kinds of calls. And I think that the electing people like him puts pressure on the National Party to do what's right on the Palestine issue and on other issues as well. And it
Which is another super majority agreement by folks.
right, exactly. Like, I've been reading polls about this, and like a majority of Americans are like, I don't know this so much about what Israel is doing. And yet, like, that preference has no way of making it into American policy. Like, a majority of people now oppose sending arms to Israel. And there's no way to make that happen because we live in a fundamentally undemocratic.
Well,
Yeah,
folks need to understand, y'all need to hear me on this. Folks need to understand that the freedom of Palestinian people is directly tied to the freedom of American folks, directly tied together. And if you want me to explain that, hit me up in the comments section. But you should be able to figure that out. Our freedom is directly tied to the freedom of Palestinian folks. And speaking of deploying, and Tommy, we got Tommy saying he would deploy the National Guard to any Alabama city that, quote, that needs help when crime surges.
Needs help according to him. So that's going to mean Birmingham and Montgomery at the very minimum might have National Guard troops under Governor Tubbs.
I'll put $1 on Mobile being up there too.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And to be fair, those 3 cities are in the top 20 highest murders per capita in the country. However, they've also been going down, and also what are the underlying mechanisms that are causing all that in the first place? It's things like a living wage and education and healthcare, and so yeah. Well, yeah, he's gonna turn. We're gonna have Fort Alabama on Thursday morning call with media outlets. Tuberville expressed his continued approval of Trump's effort to combat crime in D.C. and gave some insight to what a similar operation may look like in Alabama under his governorship. D.C. is the capital of the free world and supposed to be a place where Americans can visit and feel safe. I want Alabamians to feel safe when they come to my office or visit the monuments with their families. D.C. is a national treasure, and America is a beacon of freedom to the rest of the world. Our capital city should reflect that. What Trump is doing in D.C. should serve an example for every crime-infested city in the country. It's not just blue states either. Crime is out of control in several blue cities and red cities, including Alabama. And I've said this before, cavalry is coming. To every soft on crime mayor and city council member, love it or leave it. We're a nation of law and order. Don't like it, move to Europe, which has less crime, by the way. Tuberville is widely expected to win in November for the governorship. He'd be willing to deploy National Guard to cities that have struggled with crime, such as Birmingham and Montgomery, and reiterated that on Thursday, emphasizing that a feeling of security is essential. So, yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know what the hell he thinks an army's supposed to do about that shit, because that ain't what an army's for one.
Right.
Maybe instead of deploying people, you raise the minimum wage, or it's just fascist bullshit.
Right. If we knock enough heads together, all the problems will be solved. It's the same way that schools are run. It used to drive me nuts. Like, the only tool in the principal's toolbox is punishment. And the solution to every problem is just to heap enough punishment on the heads of the right people. And so it becomes this game where you're always finding more and more ways to punish the right people, the quote unquote right people, instead of figuring out what the root of the problem is and trying to solve it.
Yeah, because they definitely gonna have them motherfuckers in Hoover. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or maybe we make enough racket up here. They have them. We get them all up here though.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's already been bills passed about sicking the National Guard and the Marines on protesters. So not passed, but bills being considered. So I'm sure include making enough noise in the streets, they'll do what they can to crack down on it. That's what fascists do.
Well, the funny thing is, they ain't good at math because, uh, by my estimates, they're outnumbered, they're outgunned, and they can assuredly be outmaneuvered. So good luck, dumbasses.
We'll figure that out. But yeah, and it's been funny watching not funny, but it's been something watching the news out of DC where you see like the National Guard is mostly patrolling tourist areas and harassing people in tourist areas. They're not even in the parts of the city that see higher crime. They're
Yeah,
guarding
quote
tourist,
unquote bad parts of the city, right?
right? Yeah, but they're picking up trash and doing gardening tasks because there's nothing for them to do except hassle whatever non-white person comes along.
Yeah, that is we call them police calls in the military, and that's honestly the best policing that's been done in this country in probably forever. To be fair, I had to get my police call joke in there.
Yeah.
So what we know he's about militarizing the state. What else? We were just talking about having a defined message. Five things Governor Somerville. They are calling him fucking governor. Would do. Senator has big plans, but how will he pay for them? Look at this goober. I bet you he got his ears bigger than Dumbo and shit. Trade schools. What else? I ain't reading all this. Attract new manufacturing with low pay jobs.
Yeah,
Build new.
Their idea of attracting manufacturing is crushing labor and crushing labor power. That's how they think they do it.
Yeah. Building we got 2 fucking prisons on the way. I guess he wants more. Cutting taxes.
He wants to eliminate the income tax, which gives up $7 billion of revenue. So, like, right off the bat, like, all these things he wants to pay for, how's he going to pay for them if he cuts the income tax?
And property tax.
Right. So there goes your education budget.
And what he calls this right here, energy development expansion. None of that shit's green. See, and he even quotes, you can't believe the amount of energy we are behind. China is outpacing us 3-1. Do you realize how much green energy they're creating over there?
Right. And where is it written that we have to consume as much energy, more energy than the rest of the world? Yeah. Why is that the goal? Like we have to consume more than everybody else.
Well, we've got like 1/5 of the population compared to China.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So maybe we don't need it.
Well, this is 2 things why they want it for AI, these big data centers, and Bitcoin mining, which I think is already at something like 7% of the country's energy use is fucking mining Bitcoin. Or not just Bitcoin, but
other coins,
crypto. Yeah, crypto. So, yeah. So this is his plan then. I don't see shit about childcare or medical expansion. It's just work to death. Nothing. Yeah, trade schools, but not high school and K-12 and all.
Well, I just wonder how he's going to pay for it if he's going to gut property taxes and the state income tax.
I mean, he's not,
So he's making noise about these trade schools and whatever, but that's not his real priority. his real priority is going to be pursuing these tax cuts, which are going to be disastrous.
Yeah. Yep. But whatever you know, whatever labor that he needs, he'll just lock you up and throw you somewhere
Yep.
to work for 30 cents an hour. So yeah, just Delulu, as the kids say. The motherfucker is Delulu.
Delulu, is that the new term?
That is.
I'm behind on all the new slang.
Well, that's what I'm here for, is to keep you up to date. Keep
So
you funky and hip.
that's right. I gotta catch up on all the, they call it brain rot, the Gen Z slang. I gotta catch up on all the brain rot.
Oh goodness. I am gonna, before we go, let me look it up now. And we're gonna talk about one other thing before we go. But we got one other article. Oh my goodness. That's bullshit. I can't find the thing. Anyway, we'll end on a bright note after this article, but this is something else he'll definitely be executing. No pun intended on that. But Alabama's nitrogen execution is like watching somebody drown without water, widow says at hearing.
Yeah, so this is a topic that I feel strongly about, because I am just an absolute opponent of the death penalty. So on October the 23rd, Alabama is going to execute Anthony Boyd by this method that is clearly just cruel and unusual. We've already seen 2 executions where the people executed, jerked and kicked during the procedure and made it seem like they were experiencing pain. And so the widow of one of the most recently executed men was talking to AL.com journalists about it, and said it's like watching someone drown without water. So Boyd has filed a lawsuit that's trying to block his execution, claiming that it violates the 8th Amendment. So, and he's had anesthesiologists and others who witnessed the executions testify about the nature of the nitrogen oxide procedure. So, one anesthesiologist believes that Carrie Dale Grayson, who was executed in November 24, remained conscious for 4 minutes, possibly longer, after the oxygen deprivation began. And a lawyer from Chicago, who was representing Alan Miller, who was also executed in September of 24, said that Miller's body shook intensely, and he had a panicked and terrified look on his face. And that's a direct quote from the article. So I think there's significant evidence that this is a cruel and unusual method of execution, and that all of the executions that are scheduled to be carried out this way should be blocked. Boyd has suggested firing squad, hanging, or medical aid in dying. I'm suggesting that there be no death penalty at all, and that he be allowed to live in the name of Christian mercy and for the possibility of redemption and forgiveness.
We were talking about earlier how things that folks agree on, and I'm going to bet $1 that folks in the U.S. don't agree on the death penalty.
Well, I don't know. It seems to be pretty popular. I get the impression, you kind of feel like you're a minority when you're a death penalty opponent, and maybe that's mistaken, but I definitely feel like I'm in the minority. And I see people online who are more neutral when it comes to politics, like they're not really on one side or the other, who are celebrating like the expansion of the death penalty to include people convicted of certain crimes against children, for example. And yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that if you told people about the effects that the nitrogen oxygen deprivation system has had on people, then it would give them significant pause, and they'd be willing to contact Governor Ivey and say, "Hey, look, this can't be allowed to continue." But maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, so it's looking like it's almost a coin flip with its popularity declining.
Well, that's good. Let's stand
So
corrected.
So we got 40% record low from a 2023 Gallup poll, and then 55% on one the next year, and so it's pretty coin flippy. But I would say that it's definitely trending down.
Well, that's good news. I don't know. All I know is that in Alabama, it tends to spark an argument whenever I express opposition to the death penalty. I mean, for the record, Anthony Boyd very likely participated in a murder in which a man who was supposed to have paid him $200 for cocaine did not. And so he and 3 other men basically set the guy on fire and burned him to death. And there's no reason to think that he's innocent. But I oppose the death penalty even for the guilty, just as a matter of principle. Like, I don't think the state should have the right to kill you.
Yeah. I tend to agree. And and this form is seems especially vicious. Used to public officials in Rome would, if somebody was sentenced to death, they would have to go out there and actually choke them to death in the public forum themselves. So, at least they did the work, but this is straight up Nazi shit, in my opinion,
Well, it just seems like there's a lot of glee for the cruelty of it on the conservative side. And when you point out that, hey, this method causes undue pain and suffering, they treat it like it's a feature rather than a bug. And they even celebrate it and get excited about mistreating other human beings. Like, here's a category of human being that you're socially allowed to mistreat. So they're delighting in that cruelty. And I think it's a wrong approach. And I think it's indicative of just being a bad person in general.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2011. It was around 60%. So it is definitely on the decline as far as what people think about it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So
in 05, it was at 70%. So it's quickly declining. I mean, relatively speaking.
But you'd think a state that takes the Bible seriously, as Alabama claims to, would have something to say about Christian mercy and the possibility of redemption, and about human beings, everyone being created in the image of God and being something precious that you can't just so blithely destroy, and let alone get so much pleasure from the suffering of.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna end on a request from the kiddos about the Nosy Project. or Citra Animatronic or Nosy Project. It's a viral project by Benjamin underscore Pochurik that revolves around him building a 10-foot tall robot, a rabbit like robot that is going to be fireproof, waterproof, and bulletproof and can walk around silently with padded feet and achieve a speed of 32 miles an hour. So maybe, maybe you need to build your own animatronic in your garage, folks.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah. Or, for purposes. We got a little video here.
Can we not build indestructible robots in our garages, please? Jeez Louise.
We got to use the 3 rules, right? What are they? I can't remember.
You can't. So a robot cannot, by action or inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey what a human being tells it to do, unless it contradicts rule 1. And 3 is I forget. I'm cheating and looking it up.
Cheat away.
A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law.
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit.
Yeah, this just seems like, why is he doing this?
Well, to build a fireproof, bulletproof, waterproof robot that can silently run at 32 miles an hour.
No.
I mean, that's just or
video game based on this. Wasn't it like Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that?
Oh, he's definitely inspired by some Five Nights at Freddy's. But we could do the robot thing, or this is where I'm at. Either start building some robots at the house, folks, or Butlerian Jihad. It's maybe a mix of it. Maybe we do a mix.
We build robots to carry out the Butlerian Jihad for us. No.
There we go.
I think that's a mistake.
So yeah, a very endeavorous young man out there building our future.
I don't want to live in a future that includes bulletproof, fireproof robots that can run silently at 32 miles an hour. I don't want that future. That's the other thing. Nobody wants this AI stuff, and yet it's being forced down our throats. Like in a just society, we'd be able to vote this stuff down and say, no, you're not allowed to do this.
Well, yeah, and it's literally killing people now. It's literally people are murdering family members, killing themselves, and I don't know if it got stripped out. I can't remember, but that whole AI can't be regulated for 10 years and the big, beautiful
forget
bullshit.
That. Like, no, you're not allowed to take our water and light it, I say light water on fire. That's a bad metaphor. But you're not allowed to burn up our water making this AI stuff. And this, I'm sorry, but this guy needs to be arrested. Hello. Benjamin Pochurik.
So yeah, that was a request, and I don't know. I'm curious. I'm morbidly curious to see. Yeah, somebody posted saying humanity is cooked. Oh, don't do me that doomer shit. We ain't cooked, son. But yeah. So I'm going to be reading more about this as I join TikTok.
Wow. I need to get on TikTok.
It's time for us to get on TikTok. If you want to be chief propagandist of
I know, right? You got to be on TikTok.
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to hit up Reddit harder. We got to. You know, I sent an article to you that you posted on Reddit, and like I sent it, and then like I look back, I was like, it was one of the things that happened in Decatur that we didn't get to this week.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I post on Reddit all the time.
I responded. Why didn't you respond to my comment?
I didn't see your comment.
I feel unseen.
Well, I don't pay as much attention to the comments as I should because Reddit comments are usually not that high quality. But you use the same screen name, right, as you do elsewhere?
Yes, I do.
I didn't see you.
Okay, double check. But yeah, we need to step our propaganda game up. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have well established uh our podcast for the Democratic Socialists up here, and I think it's time to expand our game.
Expand
And
the empire.
yes,
Take TikTok. Well,
like,
my mom and I are working on starting a native plant nursery. And so, because we've got all this land out here that's just kind of sitting around, and mom's getting ready to retire, and she's looking for a little bit of extra income to spend in her retirement. So, we're going to do a native plant nursery. And we're going to get on TikTok for that. And so, I'll be sharing tips about how to grow plants and how to take care of, how and why to do native plants instead of other plants. So, there's that. So I'm going to be a socialist that's in business. That's going to be weird. But at least I'll be
commerce and I mean, commerce is as old as history. Like, there's nothing wrong with commerce. It's the capitalist part of it this problematic.
But I'll be exploiting my own labor so that the wealth can go to my mom, who is not the 1%. So that'll be at least that.
That's right. We got I'll say this: there's folks up around here that are highly interested in developing land trusts and stuff like that. So there's that too, and I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Feral Foraging, who's up here in Huntsville, and they got a YouTube channel. They developed an app to assist you in foraging, to help you like identify plants and all that for Canada and the United States, and they're plan on expanding it to the rest of the world, which I think is awesome. And like, in theory, all of us should be able to forage. And 100 years ago, we probably could with but now that information has, fallen out of community knowledge, and it's something that needs to be regained. So you figuring out the native plant stuff is going to be helpful in that, So, but yeah, folks, I think that's about it. You got anything else?
Oh, there's always so much more to talk about, but I think it's a good place to wrap up. Don't build killer robots in your garage, folks.
Or build them.
Or do the exact opposite of that.
Or, we do need to find consensus, and I think Butlerian jihad is the consensus.
I think so as well.
For us over here, and reviving the Neo-Luddite movement, or the Luddite movement, Neo-Luddite.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So yeah, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, bro. Well, folks, that's all we got this week. Thank you for spending the time with us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Help us fund the left. There's donation links in the description box, and we also got Robert Hunter's who's running for office, for state office in the legislature down there too. Volunteer and donate to their campaign. And yeah, as we like to say around here, all the power to all the people. We the people break our chains together. Solidarity forever, folks.
Solidarity forever.